Welcome back, guys. It is Saturday morning and I am trying to rush this video out because we did hit our like goal late last night, which is really phenomenal news. We haven't done that since October and I'm just so happy that everything's going good and you guys like the video, and I'm just happy to get the feedback. What we're going to be doing today is not kind of a normal video. If you notice kind of the background here, we were at our aluminum factory from season 1, which is kind of where I quit. It may be a little bit weird for some of you guys who have been here for a while to kind of come back to this area, especially because we've been doing season 2 and that's going wonderful. But the reason why we're over here today is because we're doing a quick little tip video and kind of seeing some little things, and I figured it'd be a cool little callback to kind of see what's going on over here and kind of where I left things off at. So all I'm going to be talking about today is just a couple keys on your keyboard that'll kind of help you build a little faster. If you know these already, great, and if you aren't using them, you should really consider using them because it's definitely helped me out, and I've noticed definitely within the last kind of 50 hours of playing the game that I've used them more and more as I've kind of forced myself to use them, as opposed to constantly going to the build menu and looking for everything little thing that I need. So we're going to start off by getting into it and kind of talking about the scroll wheel. So if you don't know, you can look at any item in the game, whatever it is, and if you press your scroll wheel down, you will automatically select that item in your build mode. So whether you need like a pillar or a foundation or like a belt section, if I can click on that, whatever it is, you have that here. So you can very easily, whenever you're building, kind of switch between multiple stuff, and if you don't have it equipped to your hotbar, you can easily just grab something that's nearby, another lookout tower, whatever it is, you can just kind of snag that and keep building. For tip number 2, we're going to talk about conveyor lifts, and this is something that I struggle with a lot. Whenever you're placing this, so say for example I've got a belt right here and I need to go up this conveyor lift. If I'm going to place a conveyor lift here and I don't think about it enough ahead of time, just with kind of placing in this situation, I may grab onto this and try to pull it down here. But the problem is that conveyor lifts work, and wherever you click, the next input is going to be the output, or the next kind of section will be always an output. And when you do this, then that means that you can't connect this belt in here because they're going in opposite directions. So the way that you fix that is you take your conveyor lift and you'll press the R key, and the build mode will switch to reverse. And I believe that this is the only thing in the game, and it works with all of them. So if you switch to like Mark II, Mark III, whatever, it's the only thing in the game that will actually kind of let you reverse it. The belts don't allow you to reverse, which I think is kind of dumb, but it's okay. It's just a nice little tip. I tend to run this a lot, where I'm constantly placing stuff in the wrong direction. This is probably like my biggest bottleneck when it comes to building stuff, is just having to pull things apart and switch it around just because I have the wrong orientation of a belt. So kind of new to the last update is nudging, which is like a really phenomenal feature, and I didn't use it too much when I first started just because I didn't really see the practicality use of it. But just the ability to kind of take whatever you have, like say I need a splitter for this constructor. If I place this down here, you don't want to place it, but if you take it and you press the H key, it will lock the hologram. The biggest importance of this, it allows you to kind of run around it, look wherever you want, and it's not going to move. So it's going to constantly stay there. I can put it right there, run off all the way at my lookout tower here. And then once I get up here, I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard to move them around wherever I want. There's a little bit of a kind of limit on it. Like if you really try to go really far, eventually it'll stop you. So there is a bit of a limit. But this will allow you to kind of place anywhere near it, and then you can just nudge your way into it. You can clip it, do whatever you need to do. Obviously, you don't want to go that far into it, but you can kind of place stuff really easy and make sure you get nice right angles. Super easy just by dealing with this. All I have to do is press the H key and then move it. The only thing that is kind of a bit finicky is once you have it locked, you can't spin it. So if you can hear that, I'm not able to spin it without unlocking it, but I can spin it around, put it here, and then I can nudge it over to the position that I want it to be in. Just doing this and just being able to kind of look around this as much as I want to kind of figure out where it's at. A lot of the times I don't need to nudge to line it up, but like I know after enough hours that this is kind of where it needs to be, but I can still lock it and go around and see and make sure that's where I want it to be. You know, that's even off a little bit. So now I can move it closer, and that's where I want it. So make sure you use a nudge. If you haven't committed to using it, I really recommend start using it because it's definitely really useful. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite on this, especially for Season 1 and Season 2, because I've just started using this in the last like couple hours of playing the game. It's using this hotbar tool that they have. So anytime you're in this build menu, at any point, you can decide, like say 5 is you want to take a constructor. So if you press 5 on your keyboard, it'll automatically bound that to your keyboard. This allows you to select that faster. So now I can just place all this stuff down really, really quickly, as opposed to having to try to go through here, my build menu, and find what it is, and then maybe try to steal it from somewhere else. I can just have it on the go immediately. Now, there is only the 10 slots on your keyboard or your hotbar, which is fine, but the way you switch that, which I've just found out recently, if you press Alt, you can scroll through. So you just hold Alt, and you can kind of go through whatever you want. You can go to your little heart emoticon and kind of do all the stuff, and that's how you switch through all that stuff. I didn't realize that you could switch these for a really, really long time, and that leaves you with 100 slots. And 100 slots should cover pretty much most of the stuff that's actually through the build menu, and you can get a lot of the stuff that you need really, really easy by doing that. And it's definitely going to be something I'm going to take some time to fill out a hotbar and kind of use that in the future. Another cool thing about the hotbar is instead of having to go through and take like, we go up to production here, so instead of having to do like 6 assembler, 7 manufacturer, and like maybe 8 blender, instead of having to do all this, you can just press like a constructor, which is one type of building. If you press the E, you will automatically switch through them. It doesn't switch through your hotbar like it's doing right now. It's just auto selecting that because that's what's available on my hotbar. If you go to like the belts, it can do the same thing where you can actually switch this from Mark 1 to Mark 2, 3, 4, wherever. So you can actually quickly switch to any sort of belt or any sort of conveyor lift, provided you have it on your thing. And this works for any building type. So even with those 100 slots you have, you may not even need all of them, because you could just take like a smelter, and you know that if your smelter is on 9 or whatever, you're 1 click away from a foundry, and you're just constantly within whatever click really quickly of whatever you need, just by kind of knowing the shortcuts. And they're all in the groups. I keep opening the wrong thing, but they're all in the groups. So like you have these 3 together. I'm pretty sure the packager goes to refinery and then goes to blender, so those 3 are together, and so on and so on. So you just kind of pay attention to whatever you need, and as long as you set your hotbar up correctly, you should have really good access to kind of everything you could possibly need when building. And then real quick here, guys, the last tip I have for you guys is machine snapping. Now this works for a couple different things, but the main use I really see it for is whenever you're trying to place a long list of machines in a line like this. So if you take constructor, whatever it is, and it kind of works on all sides. Here, I'll go out here. It'll be a little easier to kind of see. But if you place this down and you need to place another one right next to it, you can kind of try to eyeball it out. You can even try to nudge it if you want, if you're using the other tips in this video. So you can try to nudge it into place, and that's kind of quick. But the quickest way to do this by far is to just hold control, and it will automatically snap to any side that you're pointing at. So if I point to the side of it or the front of it, wherever it is, and go front, side, left, back, wherever you want it. It can't go above, unfortunately, but it will snap it automatically perfectly to exactly where it needs to be. So you can kind of get a really, really easy line just by looking at the side of it, taking the constructor, you hold control, and now you've placed 9 constructors very, very fast. If you had the blueprints for doing these stuff like the manifold outputs and the splitters and stuff behind it, that's another really, really fast way to place down any sort of simple constructor process. Assemblers are a little bit harder, obviously, because they take a little bit more, but they're very easily repeatable, and this works for any sort of machines. Instead of having to take the time to gradually place all these stuffs in order, all I have to do is just look at it, get the first one down, and then control snap to the rest of it. Alright, that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody that liked Thursday's video. Hitting our like goal means so much to me, and it means that you guys are enjoying the content and you're providing feedback to me. So I really appreciate all the time that you spend watching my content and liking the videos. It means so much to me, and it really helps the channel grow. If you learned something today, make sure you comment down below and let me know. Or better yet, if there's something that I missed that you know, a quick key that'll make me build even faster, or better yet, help out some of the newer people around here, I really would appreciate you guys taking the time to comment down below and give tips to some more new pioneers. All that being said, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you Thursday.